This is just a quick video asking the question whether or not weapon-mounted lights are a good idea or not. I was reading a gun magazine recently and I had some interesting ideas about it that I hadn't thought of. And this is basically, I don't have the answer for this. This is more of a question to you guys. What do you think? But some of the pros and cons about a weapon-mounted light was, number one, they say that if you have a light on your weapon and it's for a home defense situation, for that, proverbial bump in the night, the problem with that is that you're breaking firearm rule number 2 of never pointing your gun at anything that you're not willing to destroy. And what they're saying in that scenario is, are you positive that it's not your, teenage child coming in the house at 2 o'clock in the morning that you're aiming your gun at? Where they said an alternative, as a lot of people know, is, holding any type of a flashlight in your offhand, and they say you should hold the light either up or down, away from your body. Because the other thing they say about it is that a bad guy is, if he's armed, he's going to shoot directly at the light. So therefore, if you're holding your gun right in front of you and your light is on, then the bad guy is going to aim and shoot directly at the light, therefore hitting you. The con to that is that it's a well-known fact that criminals are not really good shooters. There was a study recently saying that your average criminal caught with an illegal gun said that he owned the gun for less than a year and closer to the 6-month mark and had not even fired it. So, as we all know, that if you don't practice with a particular gun often, it's not that easy to shoot a gun. Handguns are not the easiest thing to shoot. Rifles, shotguns, a little easier. But a handgun, not that easy, even for us gun guys that practice a lot. So when they say hold the gun up, down, left, right, so you won't get shot, maybe just your hand will get shot, again, they're maybe giving too much credit to the bad guy. And I sort of look at it like, first off, these things happen in a split second. So when you're talking about holding your flashlight up 3 feet up or wide or this and that while you have your gun in your strong hand, the bad guy, again, is not going to be such a great marksman, and he might be shooting at the light that's 3 feet up and hit you directly in the forehead. And most bad guys also do, what they call spray and pray. They're not taking shots. They're going to fire as many as they could do in a situation when they're startled someone or a homeowner is there and flashes a light at them. Their adrenaline is going just as much as ours would be in a home defense situation. So, that's just some pros and cons to that. Other people say you should turn your light on and off, trying to disorientate the guy. This is not the best light in the world, but it's decent. I got a whole bunch of, little flashlights stuffed all around the house, but they're saying that you should turn it on, turn it off. A lot of flashlights have a strobe system on it, and that will temporarily blind the attacker. But again, you're talking about things happening in 1 or 2 seconds. And there's something called hand confusion, which is related to brain confusion. And what that basically means is, if you're waving a flashlight with your left hand, let's say that's your weak hand, as it is in my case, and you're trying to hold your gun in your strong hand, the act of you lifting your left hand up and down with your the flashlight with your weak hand is actually going to make your brain get a little confused and your right hand get a little confused under a stressful situation. And when you think the gun should be right here, it might be actually raising up to follow your left hand. And that's typically something they call hand confusion. And the other big thing they say about the drawback of weapon-mounted lights is that there are a lot of negligent discharges, and a couple times a year, again, someone's family member or someone is unintentionally shot because they aimed a gun with the weapon-mounted light on it and accidentally hit the trigger. And, you know, it is a fact that LEOs, law enforcement officers, they've recorded that they have as much as 20% of a high rate of negligent discharges. And again, you know, when we practice these scenarios, we're practicing in a pretty static environment, either in the range or if we do IDPA and this and that. It's not the same as under a high-stress situation. I have been in high-stress situations, and I can tell you that it's amazing what happens in a quick situation. And one time I was very glad that it was all videotaped, because I couldn't even remember, quite frankly, what happened. I've been involved in a lot of restaurants, nightclubs in around New York area for many years, and I've had a lot of situations. And I'll tell you what, your adrenaline gets moving really quickly, and you go into autopilot mode. And obviously a lot of guys in the military that watch this, they know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm a civilian, but you know, it's unfortunately I've been in a couple of situations, and it's a lot different than when I'm doing IDPA with my buddies at the range, I'll tell you that. So those are just some pros and cons. The other thing is too, you know, everyone will say that you do need two hands to shoot a gun accurately. And we know that holding it with two hands or one hand, we probably get better shots with the two hands. And again, under stress, you might be better off with the two hands. So, you know, it's a thing. And one last thing about it is, you know, your left hand might be needed. So a weapon-mounted light might be good, again. So going back to pros and cons, because if your light is on, your left hand or offhand is free, and that could be to either pick up a child, push a family member out of the way, possibly push the bad guy back, do a palm strike to his face, do a left hook, maybe access a knife that you have on you, something like that. You know, again, stressful situations, you know, none of us know exactly what we're going to do. It's one of those things that your brain takes over and you know, does it for you. So these are some pros and cons. And then, you know, this is, you know, a 20-year-old flashlight that was under my, you know, kitchen sink here. And I was just thinking that, you know, this is not a bedside flashlight, but maybe it's a good idea, even though it's horribly not bright at all. Can't even see it. It probably needs some batteries. But the one thing about this, it could be used as a club. I mean, it's certainly not as bright as this tiny little light here, but it's a lot heavier. So if you did have it in your left hand and your gun malfunctioned or something like that, you can definitely take a whack at the bad guy with this and, you know, put a little bit of hurt on him and give you a little time to, you know, either, you know, fix your weapon or grab another one. So again, I don't have the answers here, and it's all personal philosophy. Everyone has their own views on it, but I'd like to hear what you guys think. So do you think weapon-mounted lights are a good idea or a bad idea? These are just a couple of pros and cons, you know, that I came up with, but I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on it. Okay, so thanks very much for watching, and please like and subscribe. Thanks.